From Fox 15, News 15 Today starts now.
Good morning and welcome back. You are watching News 15 Today. I'm Alex Forstel.
And I'm Carter Semino. Thanks for tuning in this morning.
We begin this morning with a News 15 severe weather day. Strong storms look to bring possible severe weather to Acadiana later today.
Let's get the latest from Storm Track 15 meteorologist Adam Olivier. Adam, these storms could produce some heavy rain too.
Yeah, there's a lot that these storms are going to be doing later on today. In fact, we're already starting to see some of them showing up on radar. We have a level 2 risk for severe weather across the area as we go through the day today. Now, you look at our scale here, 1 to 5, 5 being the highest level threat that you can have, 1 being the lowest. We're at a level 2. And that's shaded in the yellow coloration here on the map, indicating that we do have that severe threat through the day today. What does that mean? Well, strong storms, possible. Not guaranteed, but we are already seeing some of those stronger storms out there. Heavy rain with these storms as well. That begins pretty much now, but really later on this morning and carries into tomorrow. All types of severe weather are possible, including flooding. So a little bit different from the past few times we've been seeing this severe threat. We have a lot to talk about. Look at these storms that are forming up here north of I-10. Let's get on a little bit closer here, riding right up along Highway 13, headed into Mamu right now. Some very, very heavy rain with a lot of lightning. You're probably hearing those big thunderbolts rolling across the landscape there. We are looking at some more of those thunderstorms just outside of Ville Platte, and our futurecast shows that as we get towards 11 o'clock, these storms begin to build closer to Lafayette, expanding in size and scope. Very, very heavy rain expected into the early afternoon hours. We're going to talk more on this for you, let you know how long these rainier times last in your forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
Okay, good deal, Adam. We'll check back shortly. Well, a developing story this morning out of Lafayette Parish. 2 people are in the hospital and a suspect is in police custody after a shooting and hostage situation in the 100 block of Park Lane.
Sheriff's Office Captain John Mowell confirmed to News 15 that deputies responded to an initial call about the shooting. When they arrived on the scene, they found 1 victim with gunshot wounds. That victim was transported to the hospital while deputies located another victim being held hostage by the shooting suspect.
Mal says negotiators began communicating with the suspect, but SWAT was forced to make entries since the second victim's health was deteriorating.
Once the victim was recovered, negotiators were able to get the suspect to surrender. This investigation is ongoing. Further details are expected to be announced later today. Let's move to the latest COVID-19 data for Louisiana. According to the Department of Health, Louisiana saw an increase of nearly 2,000 COVID-19 cases since Friday. The state surpassing 383,000 confirmed cases since the start of the pandemic. Lafayette Parish has the most cases out of all 9 Acadiana parishes to date, with 20,145 confirmed cases of the coronavirus. A little reminder for renters having trouble paying rent due to the pandemic.
There is help available through the Lafayette Emergency Assistance Program, better known as LEAP. Those living in low and moderate income rental homes here in Lafayette Parish can receive up to 12 full months of rental or overdue rental assistance.
To see if you're eligible and for income limits, head to hudusers.gov. Applications can be filled out online at the websites on your screen or in person at Smile Community Action Agency here in Lafayette.
For help filling out the Renter's Assistance app, you can call LCG's Human Services Division at 337-291-5450.
And on Thursday at the RoboShow Center, there will be a veterans vaccine event. Vaccines will be administered from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. at 191 Eras Landry Road. To schedule an appointment, go to thehero.timetap.com. You can also call the number at the bottom of the screen.
Well, April is National Donate Life Month, and a Donate Life flag raising took place in Broussard to honor organ donors' heroes. The city of Broussard and Lopa are partnering during the month of April to raise awareness on the organ donation. The event took place at the Julian Park, where the Donate Life flag was presented by the Honor Guard and blessed by Pastor Gabe Smith of Our Savior's Church in Broussard before the raise. Well, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation agents are looking into an officer-involved shooting inside a Knoxville high school on Monday afternoon.
That's right. Knoxville police say that around 3:15 p.m. yesterday, they received a report of an individual armed with a gun at Austin East Magdon High School. As they engaged the suspect, he reportedly fired at police, hitting an officer.
Officers returned fire and the suspect was pronounced dead at the scene. He has since been identified as a student of the school.
The officer who was shot was transported to a local hospital where he was undergoing surgery. According to authorities, the investigation remains active and ongoing. Well, more riots in Minneapolis after a police officer shot and killed a black man over the weekend. Police say the officer involved accidentally grabbed her gun when she meant to grab her taser. Since the death of 20-year-old Dante Wright, police say multiple businesses were broken into during violent protests over the last 2 nights. Crowds also demonstrated outside the Brooklyn Center Police Department hours after the county's 7 p.m. curfew. Day 12 of testimony in the murder trial of former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin begins today.
This as civil unrest over violent police encounters is occurring across the state, and Chauvin's defense team prepares to present. Nadia Romero is in Minneapolis with the latest.
In the prosecution's case over the past 3 weeks,
Mama,
we've seen emotion.
Oh my.
From bystanders and Floyd family members.
He just was like a person that everybody loved around the community.
To allegations of excessive force.
Sir, is this an MPD trained neck restraint?
No, sir.
Has it ever been?
Not to my neck restraint, no, sir.
To a long line of medical doctors taking the stand to argue Floyd's death was the result of low oxygen due to sustained restraint from police.
And this caused damage to his brain that we see, and it also caused a PEA arrhythmia that caused his heart to stop.
And as the defense prepares to present its case, protesters hit the streets in the Minneapolis area. An officer in Brooklyn Center, Minnesota, says she meant to grab her taser instead of her gun when she shot and killed 20-year-old Dante Wright during a traffic stop just miles from the Hennepin County Courthouse.
Our hearts are aching right now. We are in pain right now. And we recognize that this couldn't have happened at a worse time.
In Minneapolis, I'm Nadia Romero.
Well, we're tracking a lot of showers and thunderstorms on radar, including up into Evangeline Parish, nearing Mamou and Ville Platte. Also, if you're headed out on I-10 out of Lafayette to the west towards Scott, another pocket of heavier rain. More stormy days in the forecast coming up.
It's day 2 of Al Hebert's all-expense-paid trip to Vermilion Parish. Today, he's shining light on a couple of ways the parish is working to keep the culture alive.
Test. We're going to talk about the festivals. I want to kind of revisit some of the things you mentioned, Cattle Festival.
Welcome back. Time now 7:40, and Alex, it's day 2 of Al Bear's trip to Vermilion Parish. It's kind of weird to call it a trip when he lives in Vermilion Parish, right?
This is true, but he's loving every minute of it. He is in Erath this morning with the mayor. He is at the Erath Cafe, or Cafe Erath, rather. We're going to send it out to him now. Al, how's it going out there?
Hey, Carter, Alex, I got to tell you, fantastic donuts here. I love this place, Cafe Erath. You got to come try these donuts, try the coffee. I'm here with Allie Miller, who is the tourism director, and I kind of wanted to revisit something that Allie said about the festivals coming back. So explain coming back, virtual or like it used to be. Explain that.
Pretty much like they used to be. I mean, there might be, so, you know, we're not virtual, we're full live. So, you know, but there still might be, you know, mask requirements, you know, hand sanitizing. So the festivals will, of course, follow the governor's guidelines, which are in place at that particular time. But we feel that in the fall, things will start to return somewhat back to normal, which makes us very optimistic on the tourism side.
Now, how do we find you online? Where do we find this information out?
Oh, really easy. MostCajun.com. Yeah, we found most people could not spell Vermilion, so you are in the most Cajun place on earth. So MostCajun.com. On there is a list of all of our events, as well as great places to eat, great things to see and do. You know, I love it here. You know, I like to travel, but Vermilion Parish will always be my home.
Hey, I got to tell you, I live here. I love it here. I love the Daylily Festival. Is that going to be your first festival of the season?
Pretty much. First festival of the season. Now, right now, we are having farmers markets. Delcom has one the first Saturday of the month. Abbeville has one coming up this weekend. So we do have farmers markets, but as far as festivals go, the Daylily will be our first, and then we're just going to keep rolling from there. You know, and we'll finish up in November with the Omelet Festival, and then hopefully Christmas events will happen.
Oh, that'd be great. I got to tell you, these farmers markets, they're great. You can buy shrimp and Delcom off the boat. You can, it's more than what you think. And so driving to Vermilion Parish, well worth it for these farmers markets. MostCajun.com, that's where you find Allie. You're going to find Carter and Alex in the studio at News 15 today, where we're going to go. For the rest of the show.
Sounds great, Al. We'll check back in our next hour. Storm Track 15 meteorologist Adam Olivier will have the latest on possible heavy rain in the coming days. Next, it is 7:43 on your Tuesday morning.
Always tracking, always alerting. Here's your Storm Track 15 weather.
Welcome back. It is 7:45 and we've been keeping a close eye on radar all morning long as strong storms look to move through Acadiana later today. We are going to be checking in here in just a minute with Storm Track 15 meteorologist Adam Olivier for the very latest. This is something we could be monitoring throughout the week, and it is looking to get started in certain parts of the area tonight. We are going to send it over again here to meteorologist Adam Olivier. I think we're going to come back to Adam. Actually, we're going to go to a quick story and talk about the cleanup process that has begun in Palmetto after a strong EF3 tornado ripped through the area on Saturday. For one resident, she's just happy to be alive, and our News 15's Kenny Darsh spoke with her on what the traumatic experience was like.
I'm just grateful. I'm grateful. I realize that, we have a lot of material things. It's not that important.
Carol Johnson-Tademy says alerts warning of possible tornadic activity woke her up early Saturday morning.
Well, was awakened by the emergency alert that comes on your phone. So I kept turning it off because I wasn't getting up.
She turned on her TV and saw the reports from meteorologists. That's when she knew it was serious and started gathering her family together.
Because when we started looking out, and I did see it approach over the trees, and we just got in the bathroom, huddled together, praying, of course.
Her home wasn't damaged, but when she stepped outside, she realized her brother's home was gone.
I realized that nothing was there, and his vehicles wasn't there. So as we was approaching, all the vehicles was tossed in the field next to it, and his home was here.
It didn't take long before she found her brother and his wife alive in a ditch across the street.
The tornado had taken them over to this area. So we found them right past this here in this pole area in the ditch.
She says she is grateful that God was with them that morning.
I think God spared them because he wanted to make them mission for him, because not saying that they're drawing people to them, but it's going to be through them that he used them to draw them to him.
Always tracking, always alerting. Here's your Storm Track 15 weather.
Well, let's get you caught up on what's going on with radar right now, because there's a lot happening out there. We're already starting to see some very intense rainfall, some very intense storms developing here north of I-10. Just want to set the stage for you right now. If you are south of I-10, there's not a whole lot going on. It's really in the inland spots where we're starting to see these rain pockets popping up, these thunderstorms, and they are starting to really be a problem here. Look at the lightning associated with this one in Allen Parish. From the west of Oakdale there down towards Oberlin, you're getting in on some of this heavier rain. Then we spread into Evangeline Parish. Ville Platte, you are getting it right now, kind of on the edge of it. You can see Ville Platte sits about right here, the heaviest of this back over to the west. It's now mostly out of Mamu, definitely far away from Eunice, but you're probably still hearing some of those rumbles of thunder. We go down to the south and we have one little shower that's popped up here right along the interstate along 49. Karen Crow over towards Kankton, headed up towards Sunset here in Grand Coteau. We'll be watching that for you as well. Eventually, if it holds together, making it up towards Opelousas. Overall, though, those are where all of our thunderstorms are for the time being. Now, you can see a bunch of places reporting some lightning and thunder. Interestingly, Abbeville right now, you're reporting thunderstorm, in fact, but there's nothing around you. So we're going to keep an eye on that to see if maybe there's a thunderstorm that's popping up right now. Opelousas reporting some thunder from the storms back off to the north and west. Same with Jennings with those big storms to your north, but overall, not really a whole lot going on there. Now, our Futurecast, not really picking up on those storms forming up to the north here, into the northern parts of the area. So take this with a grain of salt, but the idea is that we should start to see more widespread coverage later on in the day. This is at lunchtime, and you can see some big storms down to the south that spread into the Lafayette area and point south. Or look at this one near Abbeville. Some very, very intense rain, probably lots of lightning, and that just keeps on expanding across the area through the evening hours today. More rain expected overnight. A severe risk for all of Acadiana, a level 2 out of 5. That is climbing up the scale there, getting a little bit higher as we've seen in the past few days. And that severe threat mainly for some damaging wind gusts, large hail, and flooding. Tornado risk pretty low, but something we got to keep an eye on. High temperatures today in the mid to upper 70s. Tonight we're looking at those 60s as more storms continue in the forecast. And then tomorrow, basically a repeat of today, stormy at times, with some of those storms on the heavier side, also posing another severe risk, this time a little bit less, a level 1 risk for some damaging winds, tornadoes, hail, and flooding tomorrow, but still that threat is there. Now, I want to mention this. With these storms starting to really pop up across the area, the Weather Prediction Center has now put out a discussion saying that these storms are producing 2 to 4 inches an hour. That rate keeps up, we're going to start seeing some flooding concerns. Also from them, they have us in a slight risk for that flood potential today. And here's a look at how much rain could possibly fall not only today but into tomorrow. Well, in some spots, upwards of 5 inches of rain, very likely in this case. So we're watching that heavy rain threat today, tomorrow, and continuing through Thursday and Friday. We'll keep you up to date on all these storms. In the meantime, stay with us. We'll be right back after this break.
Welcome back. 7:54. Patience at the plate has paid off for the Raging Cajun baseball team. They turned 30 runs in a series win against Arkansas State this past weekend.
Yeah, Coach Deggs didn't like the quick outs, but the players made adjustments, hitting better with 2 strikes. He says he doesn't worry about the opponent too much because if you play the game correctly, the wins come.
The players say they just stopped being greedy and worked with what the pitchers give them.
Not trying to do too much, just kind of trying to get a good pitch to hit, be on time. Nothing, nothing earth-shattering, but just simplifying and, being more direct with, what you're trying to do.
Staying on the diamond, the LSU baseball team is celebrating its first SEC Series win this season, taking 2 of 3 from Kentucky. The Tigers play Grambling tonight at 6:30 p.m.
Giovanni, Travinsky, along with Beloso, I think Jordan Thompson's continued improvement. It gave us 4 additional hitters in our lineup, and it gave us 8 pretty good hitters in our lineup this weekend, and what a difference it made for our team.
Well, the Raging Cajuns have their 10th spring practice. It happened yesterday. Injuries forced them to use a lot of young receivers to start last year, but it's paid off to give quarterback Levi Lewis tons of options.
they kind of, at first when they first got here, they didn't know why they did something wrong. So now we're at the point now they know right off back if something go wrong or we doing something good, they know why. So I'll say just the attention to detail is way better.
Storm Track 15 has a quick look at the forecast as we prepare for some rainy weather to roll through Acadiana. Wait, what? Mm-hmm. Oh, I didn't know that you changed it. I thought, okay.
Well, we continue to track some big storms up to our north. You can see them here into Allen, St. Landry, and Evangeline parishes. Starting to get some heavy rainfall as well with this, and this is going to be a concern throughout the day today. A lot of lightning stretching from Oberlin to Oakdale over towards Mamou, Ville Platte, and these storms really aren't moving that fast, so we're going to keep a close eye on that. Another batch of rain just kind of sitting over the same areas here around Kankton, Karen Crow, overstretching up closer to Sunset and Grand Coteau. We'll keep you updated here on News 15.
Okay, sounds great, Adam. Our coverage continues in our next hour and anytime on our website, kadn.com.
We have more local headlines, updates in our Crime Watch, and everything you need to know happening this morning around Acadiana and the state. Stay with us here on News 15 today.
Coming up on News 15 today, we are tracking a severe threat and a heavy rain threat already starting to show up in the forecast. Details just ahead.